Well, North Texas is filled with major highways everywhere, and the cars on this road, you're going to have collisions. A lot of times people, they don't have insurance, they get scared about the situation, and they leave the scene of the accident. That's a big problem because number one, you're going to get a postcard from the police department, or you're going to get a telephone call from what is called a Criminal Investigation Division detective. And the first thing they're going to want to know is if you're driving that vehicle. And if you drove away and there was only property damage, you're looking at a misdemeanor. If there's an injury, regardless of how slight that injury is to that person, you're potentially looking at a felony. Now, the first thing to do is when you receive that postcard or that telephone call, don't answer any questions. Immediately tell the police officer where you're located, but you'd like to have your attorney present. The next thing you do is pick up the telephone and call us. We'll immediately take over the case, speak with the detective, and in many instances, we're able to convince that detective, as long as there's not an injury, to keep this a private civil matter and to avoid prosecution. But if you decide to take this on yourself and bring us in later, you may have already said things that could have already damaged your case. If the prosecution has an injury, they're going to be really aggressive. So one of the key components is, can they identify you as the driver? A lot of times they identify a vehicle and they identify a license plate, but can they actually place you behind the wheel? That's why it's key at the very beginning of this case for you not to speak to the police, because you may think you're helping yourself and say, sure, I was operating the motor vehicle, and now you've just opened the door to a strong prosecution against you. In the majority of these cases, we find out that the victim cannot identify the driver, and that is why it's key to keep your right to remain silent.